Good evening. I am your host, Night Angel, and tonight I take you on a journey through the veils of reality and into darkness. We delve into a tale penned by H.F. Arnold, a master of suspense and the macabre. The Night Wire tells a chilling story of a telegraph operator, ensnared by messages from a forsaken town. Let us tune our ears to the cryptic whispers of the wire, where every tap and pause pulses with unspeakable dread. Prepare yourselves, for the night is deep, and our story begins. Good evening. Tonight I am your guide through the unseen. I am Night Angel. Tonight our journey transcends the mundane, piercing the veil that separates the known from the unknowable. We delve into a narrative woven by the enigmatic H.F. Arnold, a scribe who traversed the realms of suspense and the grotesque with a master's touch. Our tale tonight, The Night Wire, beckons us into its grasp. Imagine a lone telegraph operator, a sentinel of silence, who becomes entwined in a web of messages emanating from a desolate town. This is no ordinary story, for each word, each stutter of Morse code, thrums with an undercurrent of terror too profound for the spoken language. In the whispers of the telegraph wire, secrets lurk, and shadows stretch beyond their natural cast. Each tap, each pause, is laden with a dread that defies description, a narrative that weaves reality with the unimaginable. Our operator, unsuspecting and rational, finds himself ensnared in a saga that blurs the lines of existence. Tonight, as the cloak of darkness envelops our world, let us join him. Let us tune our senses to the eerie symphony of the telegraph, to the messages that creep through the wire with insidious intent. Listen closely, for every wire has its tale to tell, and tonight the wires whisper of shadows and fears, of a town forgotten by time but remembered by the night. This is The Night Wire by H.F. Arnold. Let the journey commence. In the vibrant heart of a bustling city where life thrums with unceasing vigor, there exists an island of solitude. Here in this cocoon of technology and wires sits John Morgan. His world is one of dots and dashes, a language of urgency and whispers. His fingers, nimble and precise, dance upon the telegraph key, a solitary performer in the vast orchestra of distant, disembodied voices. But on this fateful night, as the clock ticks its steady rhythm and the city outside buzzes with the nocturnal dance of life, an aberration emerges in John's monotonous routine. A message arrives, not with the usual cadence of known correspondence, but with a frequency that is alien and disquieting. It hails from Zebico, a name that evokes hushed tones and furtive glances, a town shrouded in whispers and shadows. Its very mention is enough to still the heart, to prick the skin with a frisson of dread. John's trained ears discern the message, his fingers faltering for a moment as the gravity of the words sinks in. There is something in the air tonight, a charge that turns the mundane sinister, a portent that sets this night apart from all others. As John deciphers the cryptic taps, a shiver courses through him, unbidden and primal. The air grows thick with tension, the walls of the office seeming to close in as if listening. The messages from Zebico continue, each more harrowing than the last, painting a tapestry of terror in terse, broken sentences. Fog, descending, streets, empty, voices. In the mist, reads John, his voice a mere whisper in the enveloping gloom of the office. A creeping sense of dread fills the room. It is as if the very ether has been imbued with a malevolent will, a presence that lurks just beyond the veil of visibility, its breath a cold caress upon John's neck. He feels it then, an unseen spectator, a silent observer whose gaze he can almost feel upon his skin. The messages become a litany of despair and warning, a relentless tide of fear that pounds against the shores of John's sanity. Each word, each pause in the relentless tapping of the telegraph is laden with an urgency that speaks of unspeakable horrors, of a town besieged by an unseen nightmare. John Morgan, once merely a conduit for the words of others, now finds himself an unwilling participant in a narrative of horror. The line between his world and that of Zebeko begins to blur, the whispers of the wire ensnaring him in a web of terror and mystery. Listeners, imagine yourselves in that solitary office, surrounded by the relentless tapping of the telegraph. Each message, a harbinger of dread from a town swallowed by the mists of fear. Feel the chill that runs down John's spine. Hear the whisper of the unseen that brushes against the nape of your neck. This is the plight of our operator, a man caught in the grip of an unfathomable mystery, a pawn in a game played in the shadows of the unknown. As the hands of the clock continue their relentless march, the messages from the obscured town of Zebeko escalate in their feverish intensity. No longer mere communications, they become the fractured outpourings of a collective nightmare, a cacophony of fear and despair transmitted through the wire. John Morgan, once the master of his domain, finds himself a captive to the eerie symphony that the telegraph relays. Hour after hour, the words pour in, each more bizarre and unsettling than the last. Eyes watching from the mist, whispers in the fog. They are here. The relentless tapping of the keys is like the beating of a frantic heart, echoing in the confines of the small office. In this moment, the line that separates John's reality from the haunted existence of Zebeko blurs into non-existence. He is no longer merely a receiver of messages. He has become an integral part of the narrative, a character in a play scripted by unseen forces. The distinction between his world and that of the ghostly town dissolves, leaving him adrift in a reality where the laws of nature hold no sway. As the fog thickens, enveloping him in a shroud of icy despair, John Morgan realizes the horrific truth. He is no longer an observer, but a participant in this macabre tale. The messages from Zebeko are not just transmissions of distress. They are a summoning, a call to something unspeakable that now turns its malevolent attention toward him. The very air he breathes feels tainted, heavy with the weight of unspoken horrors. The room, once a haven of order and logic, has become a stage for a play of terror, with John as its unwilling lead. In the grip of an unseen horror, he stands at the precipice of sanity, staring into an abyss that whispers his name. A sense of inescapable dread fills the room, the atmosphere charged with fear and anticipation. The tapping of the telegraph keys takes on a sinister quality, as if each dot and dash is a step closer to a terrifying revelation. As the relentless night inches towards its end, a final, fateful message finds its way through the wires to the telegraph office. The room, shrouded in mist and darkness, is the stage for this last act of our macabre drama. John Morgan, our operator caught in the web of an unseen terror, receives the message that seals his fate. The telegraph keys tap out the words, each one laden with a chilling finality. John, his face pale, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and realization, reads the message. It is as though the very air around him grows cold with the unspeakable truth that the words convey. In this defining moment, as the veil of night begins to lift, a terrible clarity dawns upon John Morgan. The town of Zebico, with its enveloping fog and whispered terrors, was never a reality outside his own mind. It was a creation born from the depths of his isolation, a manifestation of his mind unraveled by loneliness and the relentless monotony of his existence. The messages, the chilling tales of a town consumed by fog and fear, were but echoes of his own fractured consciousness. The terror he faced was not from an external source, but from the recesses of his own mind, a mind teetering on the brink of madness. As the first light of dawn begins to seep through the cracks of the darkened room, John Morgan stands at the threshold of reality and illusion. The boundary that once separated his existence from that of the imagined town of Zebico has been irrevocably blurred. In a final act of surrender to the narrative he unwittingly authored, John steps into the enveloping fog. It swirls around him, a cloak of mist that obscures him from the world. The telegraph operator, once a beacon of communication and connection, becomes a phantom, a lost soul adrift in the fog of his own creation. Our tale comes to its chilling conclusion. John Morgan, the telegraph operator, vanishes into the mists of his own mind, leaving behind only the whispers of the night wire. In the silence that follows, we are left to ponder the fragile nature of our grasp on reality and the unseen terrors that lurk in the depths of our mind. As we bid farewell to the night and the story it held, let us carry with us the cautionary tale of John Morgan, a reminder of the power of the mind to create and to destroy. Thank you for joining me on Friday Night Frights, here on It Gets Creepy. Our journey through the shadows and whispers of the night wire reaches its end. But the echoes of this tale linger in the stillness that now surrounds us. As we part ways with the phantoms of the night, let us carry with us a lingering thought, a whisper from the depths of our shared experience. Beware the isolation that insidiously creeps into the soul, for it is in the silence and solitude that our deepest fears find fertile ground to take root. The mind, a vast and uncharted expanse, holds within it mysteries and terrors that can eclipse even the darkest of nightscapes. Remember, the stories we tell, the narratives we weave, are not merely tales to pass the time. They are reflections, mirrors into our own psyche, explorations of the human condition. The Night Wire, a tale of terror and madness, serves as a cautionary parable of the thin line that separates reality from the illusions we create. As we bid adieu to the enigmatic world of John Morgan and the spectral town of Zebico, let us not forget the power of our own minds, the potential for both creation and destruction that lies within. For in the quiet moments, when the world retreats and we are left with our thoughts, the night listens, ever vigilant, ever present, until we meet again in this sanctuary of stories. Under the cloak of darkness and intrigue, take heed of the whispers in the night, for they speak truths that the day dare not utter. Good night, until our paths cross once more in the realm of the night angel. Remember, the night is always listening. And please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Until we meet again in the shadows of the night, remember, Some stories are eternal.